If you really love me the way you say you do, if you love me half as much as I love you, you would.
King Sisyphus was the wisest of all mere mortals, and due to circumstances that I won't get into here, he was going to die. So he decided to use his own death as a test to see if his wife truly loved him. He ordered her to throw his rotting dead corpse into the town square for everyone to see. In his mind, if she truly loved him, then she'd care more about his dignity than the wishes of a dead man. Well, the joke was on him. She did exactly as she was told while he watched from the underworld. So Pluto, Greek lord of the underworld, allowed him to return to Earth and tell his wife off one last time for not reading his mind. Classic love story right there. However, after giving his wife what I assume was the shock of a lifetime, he decided that going back to the underworld would be hella stupid and stayed on Earth for a few more years until the gods had to drag his Greek ass back to the underworld. Sisyphus was condemned to roll a boulder up a mountain. It would then roll back down and he'd do it again. Brutal and useless labor for all of eternity. To the gods, no other punishment could be so severe. So there are many versions of this story. If you've heard it before in a different way, then, well, that's a myth for you. Camus, however, was very interested in the fact that Sisyphus would need to walk back down the mountain before pushing the boulder back up again. If Sisyphus could truly accept his fate and come to terms with the idea that escape was not possible, then he could be happy in the break that he got walking back down the mountain. To Camus, this punishment represents the human condition. We are all Sisyphus, except the Romans. They're Spartacus.
I'm Spartacus! I'm Spartacus!
You both have the same name?
I'm Spartacus!
3 of you?
I'm Spartacus!
This is just statistically unlikely. What's the plural for Spartacus? Like, Spartaci?
We are all condemned to the useless labor of living a life that will be forgotten and cannot matter or make any difference on the scale of the universe. The absurd hero knows this, but lives life to the fullest anyway, taking as much pleasure as possible in the good parts of life. When the boulder rolls back down the hill, they slowly walk down the mountain in the sunshine, savoring the moment, metaphorically speaking. So is the Joker an absurdist? Yes, but as a direct reaction to nihilism. The two are not mutually exclusive. Joker, however, cannot be Camus' absurd hero because he cannot accept the world. Now, Batman is not a nihilist, but he too could be seen as an absurdist, but not the absurd hero. The interesting thing about the Batman is that he comes just so close to being Camus' absurd hero, but falls ever so short. We need to get back on track though, so leave a like if you want me to follow up with a quick take video on Batman and Camus' absurd hero. Bringing it back around, one of the best parts of the Joker's character is his lack of a consistent origin. In fact, portrayals of the Joker in terms of his backstory are consistently inconsistent. This is true whether we're talking about how Nolan's Joker got those scars or noting the multiple choice background of Moore's Joker. The Joker just is. He just exists. The Joker's original origin story didn't even bother to feature the Joker on the cover. The first attempt at telling the origin of the Joker came in 1951 in Detective Comics number 168. The issue advertised 52 big pages on the cover, and to the right of that, a challenge the reader was literally dared to accept. Can you outguess Batman and Robin and name the man behind the Red Hood? In Alan Moore's acclaimed 1988 graphic novel Batman the Killing Joke, the story is reworked. As a result, the Red Hood becomes a more sympathetic figure. A failed comedian tries his hand at crime to support his pregnant wife. She dies in a freak accident, but it's too late to back out. The comedian, dressed as the Red Hood, turns out to be a patsy. Predictably, he winds up in conflict with the forces of good. You know, forces of the bat variety. So the Red Hood falls into a vat and the chemicals inside disfigure him. The chemical bath turns his skin a pale white, it turns his lips red, and his face is forever locked into a gruesomely creepy smile. While many fans believe the Joker's origin to be some version of this story, the Joker makes it clear within that same novel that even he doesn't really know his own backstory.
Sometimes I remember it one way, sometimes another. If I'm going to have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice.
Then we have DC Rebirth adding even more ambiguity to the Clown Prince's backstory. One of the biggest mysteries from 2016's DC Universe Rebirth one-shot is the shocking revelation that there are 3 versions of the Joker in the main DC universe. As pointed out by my friend and colleague Scott Nicewonder over at NerdSync, we'll likely never know the Joker's true origin in real life either. The story of the Joker's creation is just as consistently inconsistent as his backstory. What we do know is this: the Joker made his debut in 1940's Batman #1 and was created by Bill Finger, Bob Kane, and Jerry Robinson. His look was based on the character Gwynplaine from German expressionist filmmaker Paul Leni's 1928 work The Man Who Laughs, crossed with the Joker from a deck of playing cards. However, the exact sequence of events is a matter of great debate. When you ask the 3 people involved in creating the Joker about the inspiration and timeline of events that led to the character's creation, you get 3 different stories. That's right, DC Rebirth says that there are 3 Jokers, and his real-world origin has 3 mismatching accounts. It seems that the Joker's backstory is always multiple choice. For more on the specifics, check out Scott's video over on NerdSync. It's one of my personal favorites. He did a lot of terrific research and goes into a great deal of detail. Bill Finger was going to kill the Joker at the end of the first issue. Finger did not care for reoccurring villains. He thought that once you went up against the Batman, well, that was the end of you. Most early Batman villains wound up dead for one reason or another. They often ended up killing themselves in a ridiculous way. Joker accidentally stabbed himself in a scuffle with the Dark Knight, for example. However, early Golden Age Batman was not above some good old-fashioned guns and murder. His rule against both would follow soon after his creation. Thankfully, DC editor Whitney Ellsworth thought that it was a bad idea to waste such a great villain. He ordered that the last panel be changed to show the Joker was still alive. Since then, the Joker has appeared in tons of comic books, television series, and movies, both cartoon and live action. At this point, I think just about anyone would agree that the Joker is a cultural phenomenon. One thing Batman writers tend to keep the same since The Killing Joke was released is the driving force behind the Joker. I'm talking about the idea that when enough bad events occur to the same person, anyone can lose their love for life and humanity. We are all just one bad day away from becoming the Joker. This version of the Joker has been influential in all of the following portrayals of the character. As a result, he's become increasingly nihilistic. One Joker portrayal that visits the darker reactions to nihilism and the character's devotion to chaos is Heath Ledger's performance in The Dark Knight. In this adaptation, the Joker's commitment to chaos seems its most absolute. The Joker wants to show what people are truly like as compared to how they present themselves. He wants to prove that, deep down, most people are just like him. This, too, is a reaction to nihilism. In The Killing Joke, the plot revolves around the Joker's attempt to turn Commissioner Gordon insane. He plans to give Gordon the same sort of bad day that gave birth to the Joker. In The Dark Knight, he sets up situations where the people involved must reveal their true nature in order to survive. He gave Harvey Dent a day so bad that he turned into a monster, and despite the fact that neither boat exploded and Batman never broke his no-killing rule, the Joker still managed to prove his point with his ace-in-the-hole prosecuting attorney and professional white knight Harvey Dent. Commissioner Gordon and Batman only reversed this victory after the Joker's death by instituting what Plato called a noble lie, a myth or untruth propagated to maintain harmony in society. I would argue that it's the darker reactions to nihilism that render a villain scarier than any monster, ghost, or bloody horror story. While the Joker's reaction to the dark side of life is to laugh, there's something unsettling in that laughter. Sometimes things can indeed be so bad that it's downright absurd. The Joker is a sociopath who sees the inherent lack of real meaning in the universe. He is loyal to no one and as unpredictable as chaos itself. It's an unsettling notion. This makes him a formidable foe for Batman. If you dwell upon the more nihilistic versions of the Joker, you'll find that the Joker's complete devotion to creating chaos to reveal the true nature of others is no laughing matter, like Alfred says in The Dark Knight.
Because some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Thank you for watching. Go, my children, in the name of like, share, and subscribe, and get the channel some exposure. I would really appreciate it. Until next time, be kind to each other. I'm Jay Parks.